Hi guys, please subscribe to my channel and welcome back to another video of mine where I will be scoring, commenting and judging the dances of Strictly Come Dancing 2019 week 5. And let's begin without further ado with Kevin and Oti and their cha-cha-cha. His musicality was spectacular. Cha-cha-cha is one of the dances where straightening and bending of the legs is very important and is crucial because cha-cha-cha is all about straightening and bending the legs depending on the counts. So on count 1 and 3 the moving leg should be straight, and he did it fantastically well. His hands were pretty beautiful and his partnership with Oti was great. However, it was lacking hip action. Sadly, he didn't settle into the hips and he didn't produce that hip rotation that is so important in this dance. And it was unfortunate because last week he had such a great hip action in his rumba. He produced a rumba of a very high quality, and rumba is basically the slower version of the cha-cha, so I imagined that he would produce a technical strong dance, but sadly, even though his leg action was really very beautiful and it was very rhythmical, it wasn't perfect technique wise because it was totally lacking hip action. So for me, it's a 7. And let's move on to David, Nadia and the Jive. The only positive thing I can really say regarding the Jive is the fact that it was David's most confident performance. He looked relaxed, he wasn't terrified and nervous. It was pretty rhythmical as well, but technically it was really weak. Lots of mistakes, sadly. There was no precision in the movement, his kicks were not sharp, nor slick at all. It was all flat-footed and not compact at all. It was also missing the hip rotation during the chases. As a performance, it was David's best dance yet, but in terms of technique, it was pretty painful to watch, sadly. So I will score it just a 3. Let's move on to Catherine and Johannes and the tango. It is Catherine's second ballroom dance after her biggest waltz in week 1, and the improvement is so visible. She gave a great performance, she was totally confident out there, and her partnership with Johannes is amazing. She needs to work on her upper body a little bit. She needs to have a little bit deeper curve. She also needs to polish her footwork here and there and to search off the gapping, but otherwise it was a beautiful dance with very sharp and clean lines, excellent musicality and really lovely characterization from Catherine. It was a very promising routine and I will score it a 6. And next up are Karim and Amy and the salsa. His musicality was out of this world. His body isolation and his dancing ability are just fabulous. Rhythmically, it was perfect. His connection with Amy was spot on. Very smooth lifts, very beautiful arms. He needed to straighten his legs and to settle into the hips in order to create a really good hip action and hip rotation. and because that is what prevented from this salsa. That is what prevented this salsa from being perfect. His quality of movement is insane. And the way he feels the music, the way he moves, the way he incorporated hip hop moves into this salsa, all of that was terrific. But the actual salsa footwork could have been stronger. So for me, it's an 8. And let's move on to Michelle Giovanni and the Rumba. Sadly, really sadly, it was another disappointing dance from her. In week 1, she performed a beautiful, technically very strong cha-cha-cha, and she proved that she can dance Latin American with a very high level of technique. But this rumba, like her salsa last week, was technically pretty weak. She acted the dance brilliantly, and I love the partnership between her and Giovanni. But she didn't straighten her legs enough. She didn't brush her feet. By brushing, I mean passing one foot really near the other. And she didn't settle into the hips at all. It was clean and neat. It had pretty good storytelling. I'm sorry. It had pretty beautiful arms, but her leg action and her hip action were not strong enough. Rumba is all about being 100% grounded and constantly painting the figure 8 with the hips. And sadly, she didn't deliver that. So for me, it's just a 6. And let's move on to Emma and Anton and their Paso Doble. Full of drama, lovely musicality, very clean lines. It certainly wasn't Emma's best dance, but it was a pretty decent Paso Doble. She had only 2 days of training and she produced a very dark performance, even slightly mad, with purpose and an excellent feel for the music. I wanted to see much more of the Spanish arms, as well as much more shaping in the body. In addition, it was totally lacking tilted hips. The style was not completely there, but she captured the mood and she really felt the music and danced on the beat. And for me, it was not worse than her previous Latin American routines, especially with such a short amount of time to master this dance. So for me, it's a 6. And let's move on to Alex and Neil and their Charleston. What a revelation! This was truly fantastic. Great synchronization between the two of them. Pretty flawless swivels. Such a fantastic musicality, absolutely amazing partnership. It was without any doubt her best dance yet. The level of her technique was so high and she didn't miss a step. Neil's choreography was innovative and lovely. I would have loved to see her hitting some of the lines with even greater energy. And for me, the transition from the lifts could have been smoother. But other than that, this Charleston was of a very, very high technique and quality, very strong rhythmically and artistically, and I was pretty surprised, and I could not imagine in a million years that she will perform such a clean dance with with such confidence, and for me, it's an 8. And let's move on to Evan Aliash and the Venus Waltz. In previous weeks, I felt she didn't give it her all out there on the dance floor, but this time she was fully committed and engaged with the dance and with her performance. Her arms were gorgeous, and her whole waltz had such soft quality of movement. However, I cannot agree with the judges at all. Really, for me, the marks were way too high because her footwork wasn't correct. They broke hold during the dance, which is illegal. There was no sway. There was a bit of gapping, and her upper body could have been better. It wasn't so good. I loved her frame though, and I also loved her arms, and I also appreciated above all the fact that she really gave a performance. But technically there is a big room for improvement, and she needs to step up her technicality, and for me it's no way it's a 9. For me it's a 6. Let's move on to Mike and Katya and the Samba. The basic principle of the Samba, and the most important one, is keeping the front leg bent and the back leg straight with the hip up. Unfortunately, Mike's dance was riddled with mistakes, because he danced the whole dance with both of his knees bent. There was no bounce, no hip action. He didn't show the rhythm of the dance in his body. He didn't have really any technique, sadly. Very stiff, and I also spotted one heel lead, and heel lead is a totally no in Latin American dancing, except from Paso Doble. Very clever choreography from Katya, very original, as usual, definitely entertaining, happy number, positive number, but it was his worst dance yet. Technically, it was pretty horrible, and for me, sadly, it's a 3. Next up are Will and Jeanette and their contemporary dance. It was very touching. He gave his heart and his soul out there. He danced with 150% of commitment, and what he was lacking in technique, he made in his ability to dance. Each and every step with total purpose, and with his ability to put a true meaning in each and every movement he did. He was so vulnerable, but yet he was so strong and inspiring because he gave it all out there. I loved one moment when Jeanette's dress was covering his eyes, and he had to take it from his eyes, and it of course wasn't a part of the routine, but at the same time it had a meaning in this number, because it was like a statement of, here I am, overcoming obstacles, I am standing proud, I do not need to hide myself, I'm coming like an actor, I'm moving away the curtain on the stage, I'm coming through the curtain, I'm opening the curtain on the stage, and here I am, hello world, here I am, I'm confident about myself, I can do whatever I want to do. So for me it was very meaningful. His musicality was excellent, his lines were pretty clean, and above all, his artistry and his connection with Jeanette and the meaning that he had in this dance were all magnificent. So for me, it's a 7. And next up are Chris and Karen and the Quickstep. I must say that his ballroom has improved, but he still needs to fix his frame and he needs to glide more. He needs to really push through the floor when he's moving. It was heavy in places and he should have done some of his steps more on the balls of his feet. There was a gap in here and there and they broke hold during the dance twice actually, which is a little, but overall it was an improvement from his foxtrot. This dance, in contrast to the foxtrot or opposing to the foxtrot, had much more actual content and his footwork was better, and for me it's a 5. And last up are Saffron, AJ and the Foxtrot. Best dance of the night. I loved it. Fantastic performance value, amazing music quality. It was all on the beat, so strong in terms of performance. Her lines were clean and full of style. Saffron's footwork was pretty flawless. Lovely heels when stepping back, when stepping forward. Lovely rollings of the feet, really pushing through her toes while moving backwards. Her frame was excellent as well. It could have been an easily a 10 from me if her top line had been better and if they hadn't broke hold during the dance, which is illegal. It was very close to a bounder of a foxtrot because she amazed me with her footwork. It was spot on. It was spot on, really high level of technicality. But she needs to work on her top line and creating a beautiful curve. But it was very close for me to a 10. It's not a 10, but it was very close, and it was such a surprise. So for me, it's an 8. And thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel, and we'll meet again next week, where I will be scoring, commenting and judging the dances of week 6, Halloween week. So have a fantastic week and goodbye.